Hey everybody, it's good to be back with you tonight. I know it's been a while, so we took a little break. Tonight we're going to make a breakfast supper. And we're going to have eggs, bacon, sausage, and French toast. And actually this video is going to be a French toast bake. I've been researching several recipes and I've come up with this one. And what I've done is, well, to start with, I've got 6 eggs in this bowl. And we're going to add some things to it. I don't know if you've ever heard of making French toast in the oven, but I have me a loaf of brioche, is it brioche bread? And I cut them in half. I just cut my bread in half, my loaf of bread, and then the last piece of bread I just kind of cut into 3 pieces here, and just put along the sides. But we're going to go ahead and start making up this mixture. So I have 6 eggs right here in my bowl. And I'm just going to start by mixing up these eggs. You can mix up your egg mixture with a pan mixture, or you can whisk it up, either way. So I'm just going to bust up these yolks really good. As I was researching this French toast bake recipe, or French toast casserole, some people call it, some people make it differently. Some people soak the individual pieces of bread in there and then lay it down in the pan, or you can just coat your bread with this egg mixture after you get it laid in your pan. I did spray. I've got a 13 by 9 aluminum foil pan, and I did spray it with some non-stick spray. So I think I've got these 6 eggs, if you can see, busted up pretty good. And to that, let's see, we're going to add about a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar and about an 1/8 cup of brown sugar. And I'm just going to mix that in too. To that, I'm going to add a good tablespoon of vanilla. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball that. And I'm going to mix up my vanilla in there with my sugar and eggs. And to that, I'm going to add a good heaping teaspoon of cinnamon. You can add 2 teaspoons of cinnamon or less, just depending on how much spice you like. And some people stop at the cinnamon. But, let's see. Some recipes do call for nutmeg, and to a pinch of nutmeg, I'm going to put about a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. And that was nutmeg. A heaping teaspoon of cinnamon and a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. And I'm going to stir that because you want your spices and your vanilla really mixed in good with this. Now comes our liquid, and I have about 1.5 cups of whole milk, and to that I've added about 3/4 cup of heavy whipping cream. Because you want enough liquid to coat your bread really good. Now, after researching this recipe, I know that the recipe says, it's best if you go ahead and make up your egg mixture and let it set overnight in the refrigerator, and then bake it the next morning. But you can mix it up a little bit, but you can cover it and let it set at least 30 minutes to an hour to soak up that liquid really good. So right now I'm just gonna mix these spices in good. Now, what we're gonna do now is add one last thing, and this is optional. I saw that some of the recipes did it this way, but I'm gonna add just a little bit of maple syrup. I'm gonna say about 1/2 tablespoon. You could use a tablespoon if you wanted to, or you could just leave that out. And you can adjust your sugar to your, if you don't want it real sweet, or you could just use granulated sugar if you wanted, and leave out the brown sugar. So I used 1/4 cup and one of granulated sugar and 1/8 cup of light brown sugar. So that's about 3/4 cup of sugar. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is, everybody, just forgive my table. I've been shopping and I had kind of set everything down there. I've got some fall decorations here. So I'm going to put my pan of lead here and give this one last stir. And what we're going to do is, after I pour this egg mixture on, we're going to cover this up and put this in the refrigerator to set for about 30 minutes to an hour. And while I'm doing that, we'll come back and make the butter topping to go over this, and that's what you're going to bake it in. So now what we're going to do is just sort of make sure that all of this gets soaked evenly, and you can just pick it up and kind of slosh it around a little bit, because you do want all of it to get wet. Oh, that smells so good. You just use your hands to. Everybody, I apologize for that playing. My puppies are wide open tonight. Okay. I think that's good. So again, we're going to cover this. We're going to cover it and put it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes to 1 hour. And then when I come back, we'll place the butter topping on it. And right before we put the butter topping on it, we're going to make sure it's coated again with the with this egg liquid. Okay, so I'm going to cover this, put this in the refrigerator, and I'll be right back here at the table. Okay, everybody, we're back, and I let my French toast mixture in the bread set up about close to 30 minutes. So I would have actually preferred to let it set longer, but I'm in a hurry tonight. Just so you know, this works best if it sets up overnight. Now, while it was setting, I went ahead and made my topping. And my topping, what I did was I melted about a quarter of a stick of butter, about 4 tablespoons. And I may have needed a little bit more, but I'm just going to, kind of put this over the top. Some people like to have it in like a crumb mixture, but mine's a little bit more liquidy. And I put about an eighth of a tablespoon, an eighth of a cup or 2 tablespoons of brown sugar in my melted butter, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and about a teaspoon of maple syrup. And that's what this mixture is. So it's 4 tablespoons of melted butter, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and a teaspoon of maple syrup. So I'm just gonna kind of spread this mixture over the bread like this. And you'll just want to sort of get it over all the bread. So that you wouldn't have it so liquidy, what you could do would be just to get your bread soft. Your butter soft. When you mix it up in the brown sugar and cinnamon, instead of melting it. And see, how that turns out. But I just want to give it all an even coating. But I think I'm going to have enough. And you just, like I said, just want to try to get it. I sure hope this turns out good. You just want to, especially since it's not going to soak overnight, you kind of just want to pick up some of this liquid and get it, kind of spread it, make sure that you're gotten it coated good. And I don't want to tear up my bread. And so we're going to use all of this brown sugar cinnamon mixture. to be gentle with it so that you don't. I think that's good. Okay, so I preheated my oven to 375 degrees, and we're going to pop this in the oven for 35 to 45 minutes. And after that, we'll come back and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, everybody, I baked my French toast bake about 35 minutes at 375, and this is the finished product. It smells really good. You have to let it cool off and sit up for a little bit. So we have bacon and sausage and cheesy scrambled eggs. And I put me a little syrup right here on top of the French toast. So I'm just going to take a little taste test. And I've got a bite of eggs on my fork, so it's really good. I think that it could have stood to cook just a little bit longer, so you might want to let it bake up to 45 minutes. But and another thing, you might want to put the brown sugar cinnamon butter mixture after it's halfway baked, and then you put the brown sugar butter mixture on top to finish baking. But it turned out good just this way. And so everybody, I hope you try French toast casserole bake. It's a new easy way of making French toast and saves a lot of time. Until next time, this has been Baking with Joy, and God bless.